Hi, everyone. I'm so touched by the response to my last video. Your comments and stories have been incredible, and I'm truly grateful for your engagement. I wanted to dive deeper into some of the topics that you brought up, and your insights have been really valuable. I'm super excited to explore them further with you. First, I want to talk about the distrust many of you express towards financial advisors. I hear you. I completely understand where you're coming from. It's actually a big part of the reason that I left the world. And let me share a personal story that might resonate with you. Back in 2008, I got a devastating phone call from our financial advisor. He told us that hundreds of thousands of dollars that we had invested in what we thought was and what had been sold to us as a safe as cash sort of investment had essentially disappeared overnight. It was a shock that took us several years to recover from. Basically, we needed a place to park some cash while we were building a new house, and the advisor said, "This is great, you'll get a great return on it." And it was in auction rate preferred securities. And in the meltdown in 2008, at the beginning of 2008, the auction failed and the money essentially disappeared overnight. So this experience totally shattered my trust in the industry and made me question everything I thought I knew about finance. I do actually think that that led me to want to become a financial advisor, because I thought that if I learned the ways to manage money, then I wouldn't let that sort of thing happen to myself and to my clients in the future. So that happened before I became a financial advisor. It was really, really brutal. But you know what? What I want to say is this setback also sparked a journey of growth and self discovery. And it led me to realize that we need to take greater control of our own financial destinies, right? I realized that trusting people with my money wasn't really what I had thought it was going to be. And so that brings me to my next point. I was thrilled to see how many of you are managing your own finances. It's totally empowering, right? If you're just starting out on this path, don't worry. It's simpler than you may think. A few people mentioned it, but perhaps you've heard of J.L. Collins' book, A Simple Path to Wealth. It's my go to recommendation for my friends, my family, clients. It shows you how you can build a solid investment portfolio using index funds and keeping things super simple. You don't need years of study to do this. You can start right away wherever you're at. You don't have to meet minimums. You can probably start with $500, right? You open an investment account and read the book. I'm actually reading his next book right now called Pathfinders, which talks about stories of people who've used the simple path to wealth to build wealth over time, which is amazing. I'm probably going to have him come back and share more with us in the future. And I also have an interview in my channel that is with JL talking about the book if you want to learn more about that. Let's talk about work-life balance and career changes. My story about leaving a successful career struck a chord with many of you. I remember the moment that I realized I was missing out on family time, and how frustrated my husband was, and my kids, and just not being able to focus enough on the things that really, really matter. And I wish I could have that time back. And I feel like a lot of this past few years has been making up for lost time with my family and devoting way more attention to our relationships. So, learning from the school of hard knocks how important it is to turn off the phone, set better boundaries, to focus on really getting to know my children and making my relationship with my husband a priority, like all kinds of things that I just didn't find the time for earlier in life. And I'm so glad that I can do that now. Making the change and figuring out how to operate differently wasn't easy. Like I said in my last video, we downsized, we sold our home, we made some big adjustments. And you know what? Like, once I made the difficult decision to leave my career, I realized I was a lot stronger than I knew, and it opened up a whole world of possibilities. Starting my company, being able to write a best-selling book, um, being able to semi-retire at this point, things that I didn't even think were possible because my mindset wasn't oriented around living a life of abundance. Instead, my life was really oriented around living a life of scarcity. And when you operate inside of scarcity, your life looks like it's filled with scarcity. So this brings me to something really important. And this is what I've learned a lot about over the past 10 years when I started my company. And this is about our beliefs about money. I had to face some really hard truths about my own beliefs about money. Unfortunately, my father was killed in 1999. We were estranged at the time, and it added to, already a great deal of sadness at finding out about his death. But because we were estranged and it had been a rough several years before that, I felt incredible guilt and remorse after his death. And as a result of that, I started to go down the path of greater self reflection and inner understanding and meditation, and trying to understand how I could help myself heal from this sadness and this remorse. After a while of meditating and helping myself start to feel better, um, I started to apply what I was learning in meditation and inquiry to my own life and my relationships with others, and also this relationship that I had with money. And it was pretty amazing because as I started to apply this, I started to realize that I was holding on to these deep feelings of scarcity that started way back in childhood when money had been really tight in our house. My parents fought a lot about it, and I had developed these deep-seated fears about money. And early on when I started figuring this out, I thought maybe I was the only one, but or not the only one, but I had a suspicion that we don't talk about this enough. And so I wanted to start asking people about their own experiences with money and what was it like growing up and how had that affected them in how they dealt with money now. For me, I was like, at a young age, probably age 8, I was like, I'm going to figure money out because my parents fight about it all the time. And if I have a lot of money, then I won't have to fight with my partner. I'll be happy. Like, I truly thought that if only I could figure out a way to be rich, then I would be happy. And that would define many, many years of my life, and probably just making the decision to get my MBA and to work in the financial services business. So as I found ways to process these feelings around scarcity, I was able to start learning about what it took to become a more resilient person and the power of facing my emotions head on. And so I started asking myself questions like, what do I believe about money? What did I learn from my family about money? How do these beliefs serve me? And how might they be getting in my way or holding me back? That would start to change my life in big ways. And, this journey, it's not just been about finance, it's also been about healing relationships with money, with family, with myself. I started to learn that our money issues are often tied to deeper emotional experiences. And interestingly, I often found that people's money issues were tied to estranged family relationships or abusive family relationships or non existent family relationships. And because money is often a taboo subject to talk about in families, people hadn't had a chance. But now, by me opening up these conversations and talking about money in a very open and compassionate way with my clients, And I started to realize that I had a knack with this. I started coaching people, not from a psychotherapy standpoint, but more because I just understood money and I could ask really good questions that people would lead people to solve the problems and the challenges they were facing. So by opening up these conversations, I found that profound healing and understanding could happen for people, even though I didn't totally understand, what I was getting into or the impact that it would end up making. And so I've seen this work with my clients, watching people transform their relationships with money, seeing people go from never saving or investing to being able to buy a house and build wealth for themselves. It's been incredibly fulfilling. It all starts with being willing to look at our beliefs and feelings about money, and namely in cases where we're not getting the results that we want, or we're not feeling the kind of satisfaction and fulfillment that we're really wanting in our lives. So, as you can see, this was a big departure from financial advising. And had I not been a financial advisor, I probably wouldn't have understood and been comfortable asking people these questions. But because I was comfortable with money, I could ask these questions. And then I started to witness amazing things happening for people just by having more conversation about money. So, if you're seeking more financial independence or freedom, start by examining your feelings about money. Ask yourself, what do you believe about money? What do you believe about having more of it? What did you learn about money from your family? And how do these beliefs help you or hold you back? These questions can help unravel deeply held beliefs and open the door to positive change. Remember, it's never too late to improve your life and find happiness. Every small step you take towards financial literacy and, I'd say, emotional awareness is a step towards a more fulfilling life. So remember, it's not too late. Every step counts, whether you're just starting out or you're well on your way. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Make sure it's the right kind of help and not just handing over control to someone else. But I'd love to hear about your journey. What beliefs about money are you challenging? How are you working towards financial independence? Your experience and insight is valuable to me, and I'm sure that it would help a lot of other people. So please share those in the comments. You might check out my book, The Mindful Millionaire. It has helped more than 10,000 people restructure their relationship with money. It's not a beginner book because I put a lot of information in there for folks to move through your relationship with money, ask those questions, and then also start to begin the process of building wealth. So thank you for being part of this community. Your stories inspire me. I hope we can keep growing and learning together. And remember, when we take care of our financial health alongside of our physical health, our mental health, we open ourselves up to pursuing things that bring us greater joy and fulfillment. So until next time, take care, be well, and trust your heart. It definitely knows the way.